Good evening. We will start with our Shanti Mantra. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah Harihi Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahavityam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So today we will continue where we left from the last class, which was 2 weeks ago. We talked certain very important basic points regarding spirituality, spiritual life. So if you want to make a connection, I would recommend you to watch the previous class video and then come to this if you're watching this on YouTube. So whoever is in class, I'm sure you were there last class. So we will continue. So I would like to start today's session with that question, what is spirituality? We did a few random discussions in the last class. Not entirely random, but some other points, but we did not directly address the question, what is spirituality? So we say, spiritual life, spirituality, I am having, these are my spiritual interests. We keep referring to various things, but I don't know how many of us have systematically gone into this question of spirituality. We generally take whatever we refer to as the spiritual aspect of our life, we generally take it for granted based on our birth, upbringing, our social affiliation, whatever our family believes in, the religion or the lack of it, or whatever we have come across and whatever was sold to us, and whatever we internalized in a subconscious way without really going into it deeply, right? But I'm not sure if we really spend some time trying to understand what exactly is spirituality and what does it practically mean for me? What is in it for me? So this might look like a very materialistic thing, but it's not. It's basic common sense. Just like how I would not approach any material context. I would not go and buy an object without a conscious or a instinctive purpose. So it serves some purpose for me. If not anything, at least retail therapy, they say, right? You just go and buy stuff and come, and that makes you feel good. There are people who do that. So if not anything else, at least this much. So, say I feel good. So there is a personal benefit that motivates us to action. We look into that, right? So the same applies to spirituality. But before we go into my relationship with spirituality or the relevance of spiritual knowledge or spirituality for me, we need to first understand what exactly is this spirituality. So that is what we are going to explore today. See, in our experience of life, right now, in this moment, right, you experience the world around you through the senses. You say you have this body, you experience your body. You have some thoughts, memories. You say I, the sense of identity. You know you are here. But whatever we are able to objectify, the body, my hands, all that, and the things around me, my thoughts, some memory. I ask you, what did you have for lunch today? Something comes up in your mind, right? It's a memory. So all this I'm able to objectify, but whatever I say as this, whatever I'm able to objectify at this is not me. And in my current experience, I experience two things. I experience matter. In the word matter, material, I will include everything: material, energy, vibration, everything, sensation, sensory inputs, information. So I experience this. I experience matter. I experience information. Through information, I relate with matter. And then I have me, the experiencer, the conscious person. Me, I am here. So all this is relevant or not relevant only because of me, which means you. So I'm telling me, so you can say you. You can say me for yourself. So because of me, the self, my current experience is interesting or not interesting or irritating or relevant or not relevant or not. All this is experienced by me. So the quality of consciousness, the quality of being conscious, the quality of this liveliness in this moment comes from me. It is me who imparts consciousness in this experience. Because of me, there is this experience. If I am not there, this experience is not there. Right? So there are two things we experience: matter, consciousness. So the word spirit refers to all the things that are attributed to this consciousness. This consciousness, I, and whatever is the qualities attributed to me. You say, I am intelligent, I am strong, I feel I am strong. So me and my feelings, my thoughts, my knowledge, my lack of knowledge, right? All that is referred to as the spirit. So that is what distinguishes me from a dead body. A live person and a dead person, what is missing is the spirit, consciousness. Something that, what is consciousness, we cannot say. See, I am able to talk about everything. I am able to talk about all the things that I experience. I am able to create theories. I am able to, in fact, even I am able to measure and put it in a framework of understanding all the different functionings of the mind, my thoughts, the different experiences, my relationship with experiences, all that I am able to theorize and, I'm able to explain in an objective manner. But the quality of being conscious, that which is conscious, me having my subjective experience of I am, there is nothing I can tell about. All I can tell is I am, I exist, I am aware. That is all I can say. Whatever else I say belongs to the mind, and it belongs to the phenomena. It comes and goes. But there is one permanent factor that is across all these is me, the I am, the conscious entity, which is me. You may say that person is conscious, that person is conscious, the dog is conscious, the cat is conscious. But that is your proposition. You are only telling it is conscious. They even say, there is, I have read about a concept called philosophical zombie. In the sense, you make a person, like these robots, AI-driven robots, tissues, everything. Just thought experiment. It talks, behaves, and does everything and responds to your queries. All that is there, just like a human. It will give you the impression that it is conscious. But is it conscious? It is not. It is only, it has all the functionings of a conscious person. But does that mean that robot, what they call as a zombie, does it have a personal experience? Does it have, is it a person? Does it have a subjective experience of I am? I can never say. I am only superimposing that idea on another person. The only thing I can say, think about it, it's very mind-boggling. You think about it. The only thing I can say about consciousness for sure is I am. Other than this, I am objectifying everything. Everything else is only matter for me. I am the conscious entity. I am the spirit. Ultimately, if you come to that. Right? So this is from our experience. Now we will go into speculation. See, we see a lot of things. This consciousness is there. And also we see the knowledge and the information seems to belong to intelligence, which has its locus in consciousness. Intelligence doesn't seem to be having its locus in any part of the body. You may say in the brain, but then which part of the brain? Only different functions of intellect are mapped to different parts of the brain. But the intelligence itself, what is it? What is the power that gathers all the information that is scattered all over the brain, the different neural networks and everything? There is some power that gathers information according to a purpose. The purpose that serves a person. See? I have a purpose, and based on my need, my intellect, my power of intelligence gathers all the information that I have through the senses, from my memory, from my understanding, my conditioning and everything, and then arrives at a conclusion and processes information accordingly. So the information is processed according to my purpose. Again, the purpose is for who? Cannot be objectified, right? So this intelligence has its locus in consciousness, the conscious entity. So there is the matter, the different structures, energy, everything put together, right? And then there is information, and then there is consciousness, knowledge. Now this information is owned by, operated by the conscious entity. When a matter behaves according to some information, we say it is a programmed to do that. When you in a very simple machines, this toys and all that, or this there are these smart gadgets. There is this robo that goes. There is this vacuum cleaner nowadays. It will detect some trash. It will go and clean and come back and plug itself. So all these things, they seem to be functioning intelligently, but they are only functioning according to an algorithm or a program. They are not intelligent. So the scientists, they talk about what is called as the hard problem of consciousness and easy problem of consciousness. All that is there. But philosophically, when we look at it, we have this conscious entity, the spirit. Then there is this realm of information and knowledge that belongs to the spirit, that seems to belong more to the spirit. And then there is matter, the different energy, matter, the different organizations and structures inside that, the different laws that govern it. Now, the matter behaves according to certain laws. And there is a relationship between consciousness and matter. There is a relationship between spirit and matter. How different things work, how different things work in nature and all that is the realm of natural philosophy. But how I am, analysis of me and my experience, analysis of an understanding of what constitutes the spirit and what is the relationship between matter and spirit. See, when I took birth, when I come here, there is already a world, right? When I'm born in the body, I find myself here. I find myself, I did not create all that. The world is already there, people are already there, mom is already there, dad is already there, family is already there, everything is there. The doctors are already there, they only took me out of the mom's belly, right? Now, all this is given, it's all there. And then I am interacting with the world, right? Now, all these things I observe around me seems to have the basis in intelligence. There is some kind of role for intelligence behind all this, because everything functions according to an order. And I see other people being intelligent. I experience intelligence and information and knowledge in so many, in almost in everything that I encounter. Right? And I learn more and more and I improve my knowledge. Now, all this comes from what? So if I go and analyze matter, if I take a rock, the rock is not intelligent. In the sense, the rock is not conscious. So the consciousness, what spirituality, so the spiritual people say consciousness cannot, the basic philosophical assumption, consciousness cannot come from non-consciousness. That is, a what you call as jada in Sanskrit, jada is inert, a dead thing, you know. No matter you put together everything, it cannot become conscious. The consciousness is a property that seems to manifest in matter, but that is not of matter. There is nothing in matter that is conscious. But consciousness, it is possible that you disorganize the matter, you destroy a life form, the structure of a life form, you destroy the integrity of a body of a life form. It is not, the consciousness is not able to function through that anymore. And then we have experience from, then we have experience from mystics about conscious entities that are not dependent on matter. There is enough evidence for what they call as ESP, extrasensory perception, and remote viewing. A lot of experiments were done in the 60s and 70s, and there is enough evidence for an ability of the mind, the human mind, to know things in a non-material way, with absolutely no material mediation. A person is able to connect to another person, right? Then they try to understand brain waves. They have non-local consciousness, so many theories. See, all these theories are only explaining what is being observed, but they are not, so that we understand it better. So when you come to say spirituality is basically the knowledge, the domain, or the knowledge of the spirit, which is not a consequence of matter, but probably matter came from spirit, or probably matter is a certain manifestation of the spirit, but the spirit is not a consequence of matter. Now, this is not scientifically proven or non-proven. Okay. So the hard problem of consciousness, what creates the subjective experience, nobody knows. So what they say is consciousness is an emergent property from matter. Because matter has organized up to a point, just consciousness resulted out of the blue, and it has no existence of its own. That is one school. Another school says consciousness is self-existent and everything came out of that. So that spiritual schools say that. So now, this is a common experience, not only now with all the science, but this has been an intriguing question for humanity forever. Now, in this process, so in this intriguing inquiry into what is the spirit, what is the nature of me, the experiencer, what am I, what is the secret of life, what is it that makes something life and dead. What makes the difference? And above all of that, what am I? See, I am conscious. My body is not conscious. Who is conscious is me. If a person's gets amputated, the part of the body is not conscious. But this person is conscious and experiences an arm. It's called phantom limb. Somebody loses a hand or something. They feel the hand because of the wiring in the brain. And then they can train the mind with certain things to neutralize it. So they see how it works and all that. But what we say in Vedanta and Yoga, we say Sukshma Sarira, that is a subtle body. So the conscious entity, which is me, I, what happens to me at the time of death? That's a huge question. Because death is the ending of all that I know. My known experience, my known way of being is going to come to an end. Right? So after that, do I exist or not? Then we have various, all the religions and spiritual theories and mystics. Various people propose various things. Now, this knowledge of this conscious being, which is me, and my relationship with the world, and my relationship with the conscious entity that is probably cause of the world. The conscious entity that is not in me, but I experience outside of me. Right? And time to time, what happens, as though this complication is not enough. So we already have so much questions in our everyday experience not answered. And time to time, we have this mystics coming from time to time, like, in every culture, if you see in history, in every civilization, in every period of time, in every continent, there are these people who seem to have a better grounding, a better knowledge, a better understanding of the consciousness side of things, of the subtle side of the world, the non-material side of the world. They are able to experience themselves beyond this individuality that they manifest for us. There are people who have gone beyond this individuality. There are people who are able to experience themselves, the self, without the conditioning of the body and mind. There are people who are able to apparently interact with the spirit of the dead person who has left the body. There are people who are able to tell things, foretell things before they happen with absolutely no logic. So these people were called, shamans, rishis, prophets. Each culture called them in different ways. There are always these people, who kept on giving. So this in spirituality, we have two questions: what am I, and how is this material world connected with the spiritual world? Right? The realm of so where is all this information? See, I don't know how to make a plant. I don't know anything about a plant, but the plant has so much of knowledge embedded in it. If you see all the natural systems, that is phenomenal level of intelligence. A man with all our scientific advancement, we are not able to recreate one little blade of grass in the lab without using ingredients from nature. Right? We are not able to create totally. It's information. It's complete. It's a phenomenal information. If you take one cell of a plant or an animal, and within that cell, if you take the DNA, it's information. The whole structuring of matter is phenomenal knowledge. This entire universe is knowledge, right? So in quantum physics, they come close to that. They treat everything as information, packets of information, right? So there are these questions: where does all this knowledge come from? I don't have this knowledge. This knowledge is already there. And knowledge seems to be the basis of all that exists around me. So where did this knowledge come from? To whom does this knowledge belong? Does this knowledge belong to anybody? On what is the base, the foundation in which this knowledge exists. All this knowledge that I see around me, on what does it exist? It has to have a locus standi? When I say, for example, let's say I know to play the flute. The knowledge to play the flute rests in me. I own the knowledge. I operate the knowledge. And I operate the knowledge through the instruments, and then there is music, output. Now there is this world. And in this world, the world is organized based on knowledge. And this knowledge belongs to who? Right? So let us call it as that. That from which all this has come out. That in which all this is sustained. Whether into that or when all this is destroyed, what will remain? Will that remain or not? So also the knowledge of that, which is the source of all this, which seems to have this knowledge, all this knowledge and consciousness and this information belongs to that. So it has to be a conscious entity, it has to be an intelligent being. And then this is me, I, the conscious being. I am experiencing this world. I mean, what is the truth about this? What is my relationship? Is there any relationship at all between me and that? Is there any relationship at all? And what is the nature of the relationship between this world and that? So is there any knowledge that is, that is capable of breaking the known laws? Is there any knowledge that is not affected by the laws? And time to time we have these magical experiences, So all these questions are there. And this is the question, the realm of the spirit. The realm of the consciousness and knowledge and information, and on whatever that is based on, that intelligent entity, which is not a product of things. Things are based on knowledge, but the knowledge is not based on things. For example, a pot. A pot is a shape. A pot is nothing but knowledge. I shape the clay into a pot. Now, if I have the knowledge of the shape of the pot and the consistency and everything, I can teach that to another person. If I transfer this knowledge to another person can make the same pot. If they have the ability, the hands, the tools and everything. So, a pot is a thing. I can break the pot. I can create another pot. I can create thousands of pots, or there cannot be, suddenly the government says that pots must not be made. Government can ban anything they want. So pots must not be made. So there is no pots. In one culture, they decided that, there is no more pots will be made. Let us say a specific shape of pot. So the art of pottery is dead. Only 3D printing. All the hand making of a pot should not be done. Some crazy reason they banned it, right? So, but still, the knowledge of the pot is not lost. The knowledge of the pot is lost to humans, but that knowledge is the possibility. The pot exists as a possibility, that knowledge. And that knowledge has to belong to be invoked. That knowledge has to be invoked by an intelligent being. Whoever captures that knowledge. Suddenly somebody gets an idea, right? And then they come and give it to the world, right? Creative ideas. So the first potter, whoever got the knowledge of how to make a pot from clay. So he tuned into that information. He somehow grasped that information, that knowledge awakened in him, and he made the pot. Somebody got the idea that, you could shape it like this and invented the wheel. And then somebody got the idea that you could cook food in the fire and make it more eatable, right? So like this, knowledge is, and we keep discovering knowledge. And discovery of knowledge takes place only to the intelligent being, right? The food does not cook itself, Some food might fall on the fire and get cooked, but it is not a conscious decision to harvest food and cook it in a certain way with certain additives and all that. That is knowledge, right? And that is done only by an intelligent being. It is either done by monkeys or man, it doesn't matter. but it is done. Even a crow does intelligent things. But there has to be a conscious entity to operate intelligence. Right? So, this conscious entity plus knowledge, that resting on conscious entity, the relationship between the conscious entity and the knowledge, and how this conscious entity is connecting and manifesting through the non-conscious matter. Now, that is the realm of spirituality. Right? So, somebody seems to know how the spiritual laws of things work. You have all these different workshops, manifest money. In 30 days, become a millionaire. There are some meditations that teach you, looking at crystals, techniques. So it seems to work for somebody. That's why there is still the business. And if you are into this mantras and all that, we always have a mantra. You do this mantra for so long, you will get money, you will not get money, all that. Cure a disease, Mrityunjaya mantra, if you chant, you can cure diseases. Like that we have, right? So these mystics and the shamans or whoever comes from time to time, they seem to somehow tap into the knowledge of how consciousness can influence matter, how I can tap into that matrix where consciousness is influencing matter. The power of consciousness expressed through intelligence, how is it influencing matter? Somehow some guy is able to hack into that. And that guy has special powers. He becomes a spiritual healer or something, So then they go and people who are in trouble, they try everything, it doesn't work. Then they hear that this guy is curing diseases. This fellow puts his hand or does something, and then the disease is cured. Shamans used to do that. So my grandfather used to do that. Once I was, everybody has experiences like this, so no big deal. So my grandfather used to have this siddhi, minor siddhi, of removing sprains and curing poisonous bites, scorpion bite and all. He had some mantra for that. So once I was trying to do, as a high school kid, I was trying to do this dumbbells. There was no dumbbells. So we have this stone pestle. It's called ammi in Tamil. It's like a ellipsoidal rock. And there is a square rock. On top of that, you put all your masala stuff and then you grind it. It's called ammi, right? So we had that. So this ammi was there in the nice correct size. So I was doing with that ammi, I was doing dumbbells, no training, nothing. And then after I did that, in a couple of hours, slowly some pain started. And the next day, my hand was like this. I couldn't straighten my arm. Luckily, my grandfather came next day. He said, "Hey, why are you walking like this?" I said, "I don't know. I did some exercise and it became like this." Oh, he touched like this. Oh, okay, no problem. You go bring me this oil and you bring me some what we call as durva grass, arugambul. So he put that arugambul, not even a massage. Okay, massage you can say he did some muscle manipulation, something, right? No massage. This grass. He put that in the oil and he was muttering something. He kept on doing like this few times. Now you do your hand like this, and I did. It was not coming much, a little bit better. Okay, do like this, take a walk, come back, and then he did once more. Do like this, it's clear. In 10 minutes, it's clear. Absolutely no logic, right? It's clear with mantra, with incantation, right? Even if you see in the ancient Greece, that is Socrates, our philosopher Socrates, he met one philosopher, healer kind of a person, like our Siddhas in India. He met one person from a place called Dacia. His name was Zalmoxis. And this Zalmoxis, in some war or something, this Zalmoxis taught Socrates how to cure diseases with incantation. And Socrates mentions in one of his writings, he says, he learned from Zalmoxis this, and illnesses are cured by herbs, by other treatment medicines, and by incantation. There is in Ayurveda texts like Charaka Samhita, etc. There is a separate chapter devoted to the efficacy of incantations in curing diseases. There. And it's a very common knowledge in all the native cultures in the world, curing with incantation. Of course, there is one person who is genuine. There will be 100 people who are fake. Because of that and because of the lack of rigor in the whole process, it has gone to some bad reputation. But a fake, if a fake exists, it means there is some truth somewhere. So the fake is built only over the truth, only if there is, there is something that looks like an iPhone, but it's not an iPhone. So it's a fake iPhone. Fake iPhone is possible only if there is a genuine iPhone. So similarly, only because there are genuine shamans, genuine healers, genuine mystics, there are a lot of fake mystics and fake shamans. A lot of cheap quacks and cheats who are going in the name of spiritual healers and all that. But that doesn't. It only says that there is the original somewhere. Right? Swami Vivekananda used to mention this in his Raja Yoga book. All the fake is because there is some original. So a very good point. So in this spiritual world, in this thing, there is always these mystics and the shamans who seem to have some access to something that we don't know. So it happens in two ways. So these extraordinary guys come from time to time and give us a glimpse of something more than what I can see with my senses and what I can understand with my logic, investigation, everything. They are somehow able to tap into something else and give us some information that is not accessible with my own everyday interaction, perception, and logic, my analysis. I'm not able to arrive at it just by this. Just by this, I can have a speculation. I could say it could be like this, could be like that. But this person is able to tap into another dimension and give me a solution or give me some insight, and is able to. And also, there are people, in this, there are people who give us insights about the nature of the self, me. What am I? What am I, the spirit? I, the spirit, I, the soul, who survives the body. What am I? What is my nature? There is knowledge about that. Then what is the connection between the divine? Divine means from above, divi. It comes from the Sanskrit word divi, belonging to the heaven or belonging to the subtle world. So there is an invisible subtle world, and then there is this visible world, and there is a connection between the visible world and the subtle world. And what I can do, how I can connect with the invisible world in order to influence the visible world, magic, witchcraft, or we can say Veda, Karma Kanda. So in different cultures, it is mentioned in different shamanism and all that. So the spirituality has these two dimensions. The relationship between the external world, the world that we see, the world of experiences, this visible world, and the invisible spirit dimension, the spirit of the world. Can we put it like that? So let's say as the body, and I am the spirit of the body, I animate the body. So similarly, the world I see around me, there is a spirit of this world that animates the world. And it seems to have some properties like consciousness, and it seems to be possible to tap into it. And there are people who have tapped into it and shown us something extraordinary from time to time. It is very easy to, blindly dismiss that all this is fake, all this is a lie. So basically, the people who dismiss supernatural, they are basically saying all the cultures and all the history of humanity in every era, all the thing that goes by spiritual everywhere is fake. It's a scam. That's what they say. And somehow, it doesn't strike a chord. And there is always time to time somebody is disproving that. But for these guys, the materialists, for them, somehow the evidence is never enough. So I saw a beautiful movie called Saint Bernard, Mary Bernard. In that, that the priest will tell, for the one who believes, evidence is not required. For the one who does not believe, no amount of evidence is enough. It's a fantastic line. So that's how it seems to be. And if somebody is investing in belief and faith a lot, they may have a tendency to tamper into the facts in order to prove their point. Just like how we have dishonest spiritual believers. We also have dishonest material non-believers. You should come to India to see them. They're called atheists. Especially in Tamil Nadu, we have this group. Tamil Nadu atheists are very special. They're atheists, but they will support monotheistic religions from abroad in order to destroy the Hindu culture and everything. So they're very, very interesting kind of people. They are actually, if some serious atheists like Christopher Hitchens or somebody, they see these guys, the fellow, if it is a possibility, he will turn in his grave. So that is the level of quality of it. There are atheists like that. So we've been seeing them all our life here. So this one is atheists. So they will tend to gloss over or tend to trivialize. But that's not the point. The problem is, the point we are discussing here is, we already have this now in our discussion. Whoever is involved here, we already have inclinations towards spirituality. So we are trying to understand our inclination. This whole discussion is meant for making sense of spirituality for us, for our quest, for our search. It is not about proving or disproving whether there is a spiritual reality that's independent of the material reality or not. That's not the point. We are not trying to scientifically or argumentatively, logically prove or disprove the existence of a spiritual reality independent of material reality. We are not trying to do it. We are assuming that it is there. And that's exactly why we are having this session. So I can only say, logically, we can only say, I assume, or I have an intuitive feeling, I have a faith that it is there. I have an intuitive inclination to believe, and also I have some kind of experience that is that this assumption seems to make more sense than assuming that there is absolutely no spiritual entity. There is only this world of experience and this body and this matter, and me experiencing myself as consciousness is just an illusion created by the brain. I don't exist, right? So maybe we can only say that if somebody is a medium or something, they can try to talk to the spirit after they are dead. That's all we can say. So we cannot say more, because materially I cannot prove consciousness. I can only experience consciousness as subjective myself. Subjectively, I experience consciousness. So this whole inquiry needs to make sense to me, right? So I will not undertake any effort if it is not of use to me. Because I experience myself as a subjective entity, this whole thing seems to be relevant for me. So, as a conscious, intelligent person, I am interested in this spiritual dimension, both in me as in my spiritual reality, and me, the conscious entity, my spiritual reality, and a possible, most likely relationship between the spiritual reality that I assume from which this entire world, on which the entire world is based. Right? So the spiritual source of this objective experience, the spiritual source of this world, you might call it God, cosmic intelligence, Brahman, Ishvara, whatever. You may call it that. But that, I call it, let us say that. Now that is also the word used in Veda. I say tat, that. Even J. Krishnamurti used to say, even you are not, the other is. He calls it the other. Then other means something other than all that all that I can know. It's something other than all this. So now what is the relationship between that and the world? What is the relationship between that and me? And what is the relationship between me and the world? And what is the relationship between the world and another part of the world, and one aspect of the world and another aspect of the world, right? So all this is there. So basically, spirituality delves into consciousness, intelligence, and its relationship with life and matter. So there are two aspects to it. One that goes into the mechanics of the relationship between things and the supreme intelligence, the subtle world that uh, animates and lives through the matter. So the relationship between the subtle world and the manifest world, the unmanifest world and the manifest world, and the intelligence that governs the processes in the world, the relationship between that. And that leads to magic. I'm just calling it magic because it's easy to understand. That is magic. Let us say the ritualistic religion. It says, I will, my ancestors have left the body and they are in the spirit world. If I offer certain things in the fire with certain incantations, the offerings will reach them in the form that they can consume in the spirit world. Pitru Karyam, it's called, right? So similarly, we have offerings for the gods, and they say if you offer to the god, there are local deities that govern the climate and everything. And if you make the right offerings to make sure that the crops are good, the natural calamities are less. So when things get out of control, I don't know how things work. Then I seek the intervention of that intelligent entity that controls everything and try to see, can I negotiate with that? Can I in some way, can I tap into that matrix and maybe make things work in my favor? The unknown factors in my life, that control my life. Can I make those unknown factors that control my life friendly to me, so that my life is a little easier, so that I don't get into too many disasters, and it's a little smooth life, right? So that is one side of spirituality where the ritualistic religion is involved. So that side of spirituality I call magic. Then there is another side of spirituality. I try to understand how I work as the subjective, conscious, intelligent being. How is the world affecting me? How am I affecting the world? And can I have more control? And can I have more control and understand a better understanding of the various unconscious variable buttons that push me? And see if I can have a better hold of myself as the intelligent person. Can I have a better hold of myself so that I am together and I am able to keep all my faculties together in every challenging situation? Can I be more fit at the mind level, at the intelligence level? I can be fit at the body, I can have a very strong body. I can do all the athletics exercises, and I can develop the capacity to run 100 meters under 9 seconds. All the training, fantastic. But I go there on the racetrack, I get depressed. Somehow, I'm not sure. Somehow, I have some childhood trauma or something. The runner who is next to me seems to know that, and he triggers that trauma. Psychological. They do that in. I heard that they do that in games. They do that in martial arts. These wrestling matches. This guy is, talking bad about the other fellow and putting down the spirit. All that, right? So, with all my training, my fitness of the body, still I am not able to manifest the fitness and convert the fitness into performance because something goes wrong with my mind. So if my mind, the software is not working, if there is a virus, no matter how excellent hardware I have, the computer won't work. In the same way, all my physical prowess comes to nothing if my software has a bug, right? So it becomes extremely important to understand how to handle this software. So that becomes yoga. That's what we call as yoga. Yoga is basically knowing how to handle the software. And the relationship between the hardware and software is there. Hatha Yoga exploits that. And what am I? What is my true nature? Vedanta takes care of. Karma Kanda, the ritualistic religion and the prayers and everything, takes care of the external life's relationship to the spiritual dimension. Yoga takes care of fixing the bugs in my software. And Vedanta takes care of who am I? What is my true nature? And what is the point of all this? All that is taken care of. Now, this is the spirituality of the Vedic tradition. Now, if you look into the spirituality of any original native spiritual tradition, if you go into the Druids, the Celtics, into the Yoruba, no matter where we go, the Wiccans, the Native Americans, the Australian Aborigines, no matter where you go, the Siberian shamans, no matter where you go before in the history, or even when you go into the monotheistic religions, there is always these aspects. There is always an aspect in these different spiritual traditions. There is always an aspect that deals with how to manipulate life situations through prayer or incantations or whatever. How to handle the problem of my software. And then there is a theory about me and my relationship, what is called as the metaphysical truth, or they call it, whatever, the metaphysical truth that they propose about, then the way things are, the way I am, and my relationship with God and all that. So basically, these are the three areas of spirituality. Now, what about me? That becomes, who am I and all that is something that doesn't come so naturally. Because mind is outward, I am outward, I have everyday concerns. Usually, spirituality begins from fear of the unknown. That is the most basic instinctive, the raw form of spirituality, spiritual interest, I will put it. The raw form and the raw basic form of spiritual interest usually comes out of the fear of the unknown. Oh, I don't know what will happen. There are people who pray during a football match, cricket match. People pray so that their team will win. Right? It's very funny, but they're very serious about it, and probably it works. I don't know. So sometimes they win. They say it's all because of my prayer. They can say, I did this prayer today. That is why our team won this match. I have seen granny telling. I'm not kidding. I have seen young people telling, hey, we all prayed, man. That's why it worked. It was really. You can hear this talk in many places. It's cute. It's cute. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So there is a need to influence outcomes according to what I want, right? And I'm scared of certain outcomes. I don't want certain outcomes. I'm scared of that. So I want to avoid that. And I am in some trouble, and I don't know why I'm getting, constantly this kind of troubles. So then I go and consult some astrologer. I go and consult somebody, some shaman or somebody. And then they seem to have a, some tarot card reader. They seem to, they apparently seem to access some pattern. that we cannot see, some subtle pattern that is apparently influencing my visible world. And then they suggest something, so remedies, and we do that. Sometimes it works, seems to work, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works in the other way. So we don't know. So now this whole, so that's how it begins, you know. In the yoga, in our traditional literature, we call this as arti, the one who approaches the spiritual knowledge, access some spiritual knowledge because he's in trouble. I'm in trouble, I want to get out of trouble. So there is another level, one little level, little better. So I want to make sure that I get more and more favorable things happening in my life. Now I become more powerful, I become richer, now that I become I get the right favors, I get the right contacts and everything else. So the people who come to try to understand and manipulate the spiritual dimension using the spiritual information for that purpose, to get the things done. Then there are people who want to know what's going on, right? So they want to understand the nature of things. They want to understand this. So they are inquirers, spiritual inquirers, who want to arrive at the knowledge, the secret knowledge of that in the self and the truth about the self. They want to know what am I. That is a little advanced, a little rare case. Not only one in a few thousand to a few million arrive at this question of what am I, you know, and the importance of that. That even interests, that question even interests them. You know? They try to look for a permanent solution to the problems, not quick fixes. You know, some problem I do something, I feel okay, and again another problem I do something else, and it's okay. Again another problem. So they're tired of this, and they want to put an end to problem itself. So they want to arrive at permanent happiness, permanent peace. Then they start inquiring into that. So that is there, and there are the wise ones, the ones who already know, the enlightened ones, just you hear about all the time. So these enlightened ones have a way of relating with the spiritual reality at the functional level, right? So, so that's how it is. So depending on the individual, depending on me, what I am means you. Depending of what you are, spirituality makes sense for you, or is defined for you in a certain way. So it is you who define spirituality in a functional way that is relevant for you. So what is spirituality for you? It's a bunch of magic. Hopefully I get the right magic to get the right things done. Then it is trial and error, and then you go into that. Astrology, gemstones, mantras, you know, and all that, and constantly praying and making sure that everything is worked. So my granny used to have specific prayers every day, so many repetitions of so many mantras for the sake of all her grandchildren. So it's all the time rotating that mala, doing something. It says, oh, I'm praying for her. Today is her birthday, his birthday. So I'm praying for them, praying, doing this, doing that. Constantly. You know, we see this kind of very pious religious people in every culture. In every family, there's probably one or two like that, hopefully. So we have that. For me, it's magic. Okay. That's your spirituality for you. So then where should you go? Right? Knowledge. So then there is an inquiry into that. And then we see what is most reliable, where you can get the most reliable help, and where you are less likely to be conned. Knowledge. Then you have this realm of handling the software. See, I don't understand, but I understand that there are some spiritual, you know, laws that operate in our life that control me. I am only interested in my peace, and I'm more interested in, you know, to be able to handle myself better. So that is my purpose. Then let us see how spirituality can help you. So then the spirituality is approached by you according to that purpose. So it is my purpose that defines the way I approach spirituality, spiritual dimension, and the spiritual knowledge. The truth of spirituality is relevant for me according to my purpose. That's what I would like to say. So it's basically the knowledge of consciousness, me, the self, the source of all information, let's say call it God or Ishwara. We say Ishwara in Vedanta. Because I promised no jargons today. So allow me only this word, Ishvara, God. Right? And the relationship between the mechanics, the magic between the spirit dimension and the material dimension, both in me and out there. So this is what spirituality is all about. Now, as we go more into it, we have to see what we are interested in. Each one of us is interested. And then based on that, we have to organize our quest, because there can be, it's like consider spirituality like a buffet. Right? It has different things for different purposes. So you go and pick up what you want according to your purpose. So ultimately, I have to be clear of what I want and what it has for me. So what is the connection between what I want and what I am seeking out there? What I'm using, what I'm trying to access should have make some practical sense to my purpose. So based on that, I have to tweak my search, I have to research, I have to understand, and I cannot afford to be blindly lazy and go wherever I get some immediate sense of comfort. So spirituality is serious work. It's not, it's a very conscious, serious striving. It's a search. It's not, it's not just seeking comfort. If you want comfort, please don't seek comfort in spirituality. I mean, immediate comfort. I'm not talking about peace and happiness. If I just want to be emotionally comfortable, go talk to somebody, watch a movie or some comedy, or take a walk, have a juice or whatever. But have some nice sweet or some dish. Don't come to spirituality for immediate comfort. That is one of the most dangerous ways of approaching spirituality, and that's where people mostly get caught. You come to spirituality for emotional comfort, for some immediate quick fix solution out of our laziness, mental laziness. Then if you have good punya, like I said in the last class, you have good punya, you will not end up with a con man. If you don't have punya, then you will end up in the wrong place. And you can get influenced in the wrong way and get carried away for a very long time. Before you wake up, sometimes it will be too late. And mostly, hopefully, it is not too late. But still, it's a lot of unnecessary trouble to get back in shape and to get back to the on track, into the right track. Yeah. So all that can be avoided. So let us understand the seriousness behind the spiritual quest and approach the subject accordingly. So think about it. I don't expect any questions now because it's already 7:05. Think about it. Please send me your questions. I think I have put a very serious kind of a base. I know I told a lot of things. Some in the beginning of the class might have gone too abstract. I'm sorry for that, but this is how I know to talk about it. So maybe listen to it a couple of times, the last lecture and this lecture, and think about it and send me your questions and we will deal with them as much as possible with zero jargons in the coming session. Okay. With that, I will finish our session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamidachyate Purnamadaya Purnameva Vadishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tachyate. Thank you.